Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Quick Slants with Bethel University head football coach Steve Johnson. Quick Slants is a weekly program that gives you, the fans, the opportunity to ask the Bethel coach questions about the Royals, football or sports in general, or just see Coach Johnson's wisdom about life events that are going on out there. In this week's episode, the coach talks to us about the game against St. Thomas this Saturday. He gives us an update on his beloved Cubs, and the coach answers the biblical questions for a mother. So let's get right to Quick Slants. So let's welcome back Coach Johnson this week. Coach, before we start out, I want to thank you for bearing with me with a little bit of a cold I got here today, so I appreciate that very much. Let's begin with our team updates.
We had our bye week, and so we're pretty healthy. We're excited to get back going, and I think it's kind of a funny thing about the bye week where you're kind of healed up, but feels like you shouldn't be getting rusty in 10 days, but might feel a little rusty, So anyway, we're excited to play, get going again, and it's been a good break and some good growth, and so there's excitement there.
As you mentioned, you take on St. Thomas this week. What does that rivalry mean to Bethel?
There's real, right now they're kind of the standard, the league standard of excellence, and they played in the national title game last year, and they're a team that we've had I think really a healthy, great rivalry with. Maybe our fans don't like each other that much, but as far as our coaches, we respect each other a lot, and I think the kids do too, and they're physical and they're good and they're fast, and they're a good team. Last year they beat us pretty handily, but last 4 years we've split, and the last 3 years we've won 2 of them, and so it's been a real good game, and our record right now is a little bit different, maybe than normal when we play them, but at the same time, both of us know what to expect, and it's going to be a physical football game, and a lot of fun. So,
a very diverse attack by the Tommies this season. How do you prepare for this kind of offense? We have several different players who can have an impact.
Yeah, I think that they lost their great running back to an injury, and but they've really got a couple, Treadle, especially in Parks, they've done just a great job, and Fenske's done a nice job with his just being a leader and being that guy after Gould was just such a great player for him in Magic, and Coach Crusoe and his guys, they really love their quarterback to be a guy that just kind of facilitates that offense and will make smart decisions and good decisions, and they've got a nice blend of wearing you down, and but they've also got playmakers to make big plays, and I think the Wald logo, we're a little tired of the Wald logos, but he's a real good player that they get the ball to him in many situations in many ways, but also critical times, and he's a playmaker, and so that variety of attack for them is it's not because they don't have great players, it's because they can keep you off balance with all those different things, and we like to be that way on offense, too, with Bloom and with Marquardt and Neville and Amsta and Pitlack. So we've got there's quite a good bit of similarities offensively.
The Tommies have a defensive line that really puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback and really gets after the running back. I would figure that your offensive line is going to really have their hands full on Saturday.
Well, they do, and they always do, and they will, and a lot of times people, not every sack is from the old line, but many of them are, and not every time that a running back gets stopped is the old line the deal. So they're going to have to really play well, and they're going to have to, the pressure of the Tommies is immense, and it doesn't stop. And so we've got to be ready for that, prepared for that. They they blitz, or I don't even want to call it a blitz. They pressure you so much that you need to there's not a whole lot of time to have long developing plays. You know what I mean? So we just have to be precise with our execution, and be, we just need to be smart and kind of take what they'll give us, and then and make some plays after that, and so they cause you to be, I think they cause some teams to try to be tricky, but I think they cause other teams, if you want to be sharp, they cause you to be simple, and that, to me, that is, I think that's a sharp thing that they can do, and they have to have the athletes to do that, and they do. But it also, I think it helps a team like ours to where we're not going to, we're going to have some adjustments and some things that we can take advantage of, but we aren't going to count on having 4 seconds to check out our third receiver.
Well, before we head into our fan questions this week, how about a Chicago Cubs update for us?
So, baby. It's just been a blast. Those guys are, they are so fun to watch, and I know that, if you're a Cleveland fan, you probably can't stand them. But other than that, I think people that, like baseball, you don't even have to love it, but if you like baseball, the Cubs are fun to watch, not only because they, haven't been to the World Series since World War II, but because they're just athletic, and they got just so many weapons and all those things. And, not unlike there's just so many similarities with Cleveland. They've got the advantage more of the small market thing, to where, it's, people, can really appreciate those guys, and they haven't won it. They're similar to the Cubs and haven't won the World Series in quite a long time. But their shortstop Lindor is an incredible player, and I love both managers. So it's really a fun World Series for me.
Well, let us head to our fan questions. First up is Tim from St. Paul. He says, Coach, what are your impressions of Coach Caruso?
Coach Caruso is he's a taskmaster. He is a very intelligent guy. He is a detailed, no stone left unturned guy. He's very confident, and he's demanding, but he cares about his guys a lot, and they really, really play hard. So, just like anything, any coach's his staff is really got to be, that's kind of, if you want to look to see how a coach is, you kind of have to look at his staff. And, Wally on defense, or Kaczynski, or defensive coordinator, and just all the guys, Travis, that they have a staff that is, they just really feed each other and grow together, and it's really pretty impressive. So you can't really talk about a head coach without bringing those guys in, but he's done a great job over at St. Thomas, and they've always had a lot of really great athletes, and kind of pick of the litter in the recruiting, in my opinion, but they weren't always this consistently terrific, and you have to give Coach Caruso and his staff credit for that.
Miriam from Anoka starts out by saying, congratulations on 200 victories, Coach. Did you ever have any idea of how successful you could be at Bethel?
No idea whatsoever, and that again goes back to the staff thing. But I was talking to someone the other day, is that we went into this thing, hoping that someday we could be 500. Because we were a program in 1989. We had 38 guys, and we wanted to put a premium on toughness, on caring about each other, and doing things right. And we were simple and sound, and hopefully we're still that way. And we wanted the base of the program to be the same base at Bethel University. That's a Christian school, not just in the catalog, but a group of guys that are grateful for the cross of Christ, and kind of walking that way. Not perfect in any ways, but but having a standard toward those things. And so we really didn't, to be honest, I didn't really even think we could win a lot, let alone 200. So answer the question is no, I had no idea. We just wanted to go day to day. And it's funny that I was just talking to a younger coach who played in our program, who is like a brother in my son, and he's struggling with some things. And I just, my heart was out to him, but I told him I'm 60 years old and I'm struggling with those same things. So don't count on that going away. But you got to go day to day, and our expectations are this and this and that, but it's more important the kind of man you are every single day. And then, that's just kind of what we want to preach: be the right guy each day, and walk in Him, and winning takes care of itself.
Lisa asks, with the kind of success that you have had at Bethel, does the idea intrigue you of coaching at another place?
I get that a lot. I get that a lot with, different things. I don't know if it intrigues me. I just hear of it, and there's times when you're doing well that you don't really care about those things, and I really never have. I really felt like I was kind of led or called to Bethel, and if I got called away, I don't know if I would get called somewhere or called away, but I really don't think about it much. I think there's been opportunities and those things. The profession is pretty cyclical, and it's not in Division III, or it's not quite as rotating. But there's really kind of, in my opinion, there's one Bethel. There's a lot of Christian schools that haven't stayed to have that be their main focus or the base of the place. So that's one thing that keeps me at Bethel, but also some of the other divisions are there's some things that I wonder about it. I'm not intrigued by it. I guess I don't wonder about it. I don't wonder or intrigued. I just hear it a lot in recruiting. A lot of people ask how long I'm going to be at Bethel, and that's been going on for a lot of years, and my answer is I have no plans on I'm just kind of trying to walk day to day and be the right guy.
After 400 victories, you could leave Bethel.
I'll be with Jesus a long time before 400 could ever happen.
Next up, we have Jim from Chicago. He says, do you think the Cubs have to sweep at home to win the World Series?
No, I'd love them to do that. Not to be mean to Cleveland, but I really dislike the 2-3-2 thing, because I felt like if the Cubs, who had the best record in baseball by far, if they didn't, because they split in Chicago, if the Dodgers would have, Dodgers would have won those two games, then the Cubs would have never got back to Wrigley, and that would be a travesty. So I think I don't think that they have to. I don't think that I think that they could. I don't think that they will, but I think the Cubs have a lot better. They've got Kluber, who's amazing, but they don't have the starting pitching that the Cubs have, and then I think you almost have to wonder if relievers are in, can get overexposed, and pretty soon you're starting to hit them. So,
John from Naperville says to you, a lot of analysts said Joe Madden was foolish to activate Kyle Schwarber. Looks like the manager is a lot smarter than these so-called experts.
Yeah, I don't, I get a lot of those things. I've made a lot of decisions in my coaching that have been really stupid, but they worked out well, so then they were smart, and that really didn't make them smart. I've also made some good decisions that didn't work out, and doesn't mean it was a bad decision. It means it just didn't work out. So I think Joe Madden is terrific, and I think he's terrific because he handles people with honesty and integrity, and joy, and he's pretty good at holding people accountable without, beating them to death. And he's kind of keeping the pressure off these guys by, not changing things, when you get to the big pressure games. And so, activating Schwarber, as a Cub follower, I've seen him in the dugout all year, and he get what we call good juice. He's always giving good juice, and he's got a happy heart, and he's a tough guy, and his teammates love him, and I think that's probably a bigger thing than his production, is that I think that he may have activated him because he's an important part of their team, and he can do some things, and a lot of circumstances come together where Hayward isn't hitting, so you don't want to, as far as the DH is concerned, you really don't have anybody better than Schwarber, even if you do have to take a chance, because he's just so powerful, and even if it's not for him, you got to be careful of him with the next guy. So.
Craig from Minneapolis would like to know from you, with the success that Prescott has had, would you go to Tony Romo when he is healthy?
Oh man, you guys. I don't know if I ever would have. No, I don't want to say that. No. I'm not a big Tony Romo fan, and maybe not even the biggest Cowboy fan in the world. So, I think I kind of like how the Prescott kid is doing, and so that's about. I like the Ohio State running back too. So, those are the things that are interesting there. But I think Tony Romo, if he's the right kind of guy, he's gonna help that get better and then be there for him, and you can bring him along as slow as you. I just think in the NFL today you need more than one quarterback, and they're lucky enough to have that all this stuff. So I don't know that Tony has proven that he's way better than Dak Prescott.
Next, we have a couple of NBA questions for you. The first is Leon from Chicago. He says, "Isn't it sad that the Bulls are so irrelevant?"
Yeah. It's sad, but yeah. Yep, it is. They're just not. They're just not very good, and I don't really understand their plan right now. But I think Dwayne Wade is a good guy, and I think, but there's. The NBA almost hurts itself to where there's just 3 or 4 teams that are so. There's a lot of great teams, but there's 3 or 4 that are so ridiculously better that it's tough. And I think the free agent structure, makes the guys be able to go be with their friends and all that stuff. It wrecks a little bit for me.
Speaking of ridiculously good. Sam from Fargo would like to know, do you think Kevin Durant will fit in well with the Warriors?
I'm not on basketball yet, but I can't imagine that he wouldn't. I'm kind of interested in Bethel basketball, but they're just practicing. They got a ways to go before they play. But I think Durant, I just think the character of the people on that team is ridiculous, because I think Durant's an amazing guy, and Steph Curry obviously, and Thompson, and Steve Kerr. Even before he was a Chicago Bull, I thought that he was about the greatest guy ever, and just a tough guy with an amazing heart.
Our next question is from Christine. She says, "Coach, my son asked me a question I really don't know how to answer. How can someone honor their mother and father when Jesus said that there would be a time when he would set daughter against mother and father against son?"
Well, you're kind of taking some verses out of context, but I think that honor, I don't think honor, it's like not a contest. I think, I can honor my father and mother by the way I speak about them in another spot, and all those different things. And I think, just like everything else, if my son and I are turned against one another, there's going to be a forgiveness piece in there. So taking an Old Testament maybe piece and turning it, but I think honoring the father and mother really, in the context of that part there, is that they, hopefully they deserve it, but even if they don't, they need to be honored, and then you have to, try to figure out what honor them means. So sometimes it means just be quiet.
Our last thing for this week, what are we praising the Lord about and saying hallelujah anyhow to?
Well, praise the Lord for the cross and forgiveness and joy to run. And hallelujah anyway is that there's no game tonight, and I got to wait till tomorrow for the Cubs to play.
Well, thanks for joining us this week. Coach, I know next week we'll be talking to you as World Series champion.
All right, can't wait.
All right, talk to you next week. We want to thank Coach Johnson for joining us on Quick Slants this week. If you have your own questions you'd like to ask about the football coach, please send them to us at stevejohnson@minorleaguesportsreport.com. That's Steve Johnson at minorleaguesportsreport.com. Please have your questions to us by Wednesday evening so we can give the coach a little time to review them before we record the show. I'm Rob Pannier, the managing editor of the Minor League Sports Report, thanking you for bearing with me for my voice this week, and we'll see you next time on Quick Slants.